So I'm going to start the webinar, just let people start coming in.
Okay.
And then I'm also going to, hey T.
Hey T.
Hey everyone, how are you?
You can't call her T, only I can do that.
See, let me tell you this, Tiara. My son loves when you do stuff, right? He thinks it's like so sad. But I love that it sticks with him. And that's so important. So I think you gotta like build a whole something around teens.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad to hear that.
Yes. Oh my gosh. He's like, yeah, he said, and I started just thinking, and Roxanne, he got his permit yesterday. And he said, wait a minute, you'll love this, Tiara. And so he said, I prayed with him and we prayed. He's like, and then I just began to manifest it and say it. I was like, oh, okay then. Yes, Rox. So he's super excited.
I know, that's like such a big milestone.
It really is. And he was nervous. He didn't want anybody to know. And I just said to him, I said, you'll be fine. I just trust the process. You've studied. And he's like, his hands were so clammy. I didn't even want to touch him. I'm like, so, yes.
Well, that's good. I'm glad he got it. Yes. I have a little experience with my I had 2 adult kids. So when my son, he got his, I was just like, oh, he's like one of those people that he could just look at the outside of a book and pass the test. And so I was like, I ain't gonna have to worry about paying for this. He ain't gonna pass that test. I ain't see him pick up no book. I ain't see him look at no app or nothing. Whole time I didn't know he had an app on his phone, and he had been reviewing the material. I think that's around the time when they first started putting it on the phone, on the app. And so he went in there and he came back out. He came back out so quick. I'm like, I know he ain't passed this thing. So he come out like, Mom, can you give me the money so I can pay? I was like,
Michael did that too. I never saw him study or anything. He went in there. I was like, he's gonna fail this test. And he came out and
so he's like one of those, he's like that person who's like, you know what? I got it. I can get it. Wow.
So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We were just going to give everyone a few minutes to log in. We're really excited. We even have some swag box giveaways if you're one of the lucky people to win. So I was thinking we could draw in the beginning when we do our first thing, and then maybe at the end we can draw again. And I think Ms. Booker has a prize as well. So there'll be like 3 chances to win something. So we're excited about that.
Yeah, so I have a question. Do I get to win anything or no?
No, you don't get to win anything. That's cheating.
I love games. I love this kind of stuff. And she's so good. Okay, I'm going to participate, but I won't win.
No, you can play, but you can't win.
Okay.
If you win, then we have to give it to someone else.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
I'll go with that.
All right.
So we have people are still coming in. I am going to go ahead and get started, and then we're also welcoming people on Facebook. So I'll be looking at that. So you'll see me look away, but I'll be getting the chats, the questions in the comments section for you as they start coming up. So for our Mind Health Shop Talk, welcome everyone. Put your own mask on first. Work-life balance after, during,
between, in the middle of, and never gonna end. Oh, geez.
So that's gonna be interesting because we had talked earlier, and just listening to some of the planning that Baltimore City is even doing, it's probably going to be around with us for a little bit more. So this is definitely a timely topic. So for our Mind Health Shop Talk, it's a partnership with Kaiser Permanente and Black Mental Health Alliance. We have interactive sessions that are facilitated by either licensed therapists, authors, and persons with relevant lived experience. And we do different topics every month. So it's usually the third Tuesday. We start at the same time, same bat channel. And what we do for the Good Health, Great Hair initiative, we're usually in the barbershops and beauty salons, but because due to COVID, we are doing them virtually all the way to January until things are updated again. So for this Mind Health Shop Talk, we have Teara Booker that it will be leading us. She is going to make this an awesome interactive session. But before that, I just want to introduce you to Kaiser Permanente's representative, Ms. Regina Webb. She'll be talking a little bit more about the Good Health, Great Hair and Kaiser Permanente in general for the Mid-Atlantic region.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Regina Webb. I am program manager on the community health team, and I oversee our Good Health and Great Hair program, which is Kaiser Permanente's community outreach or community health initiative, where we partner with shops and salons in West Baltimore to provide wellness screenings and a range of social support services to communities in need. Black Mental Health Alliance has been one of our partners for the last 3 to 4 years, and have really been able to bring these timely topics and discussions to us and newly in our virtual format. So I do want to take a moment to thank Black Mental Health Alliance for being a wonderful partner to us at Kaiser Permanente and being a vital component to our Good Health and Great Hair outreach initiative. Just as a reminder, we are, again, I mentioned that we do this as a part of a wellness initiative, but this year we will focus solely on vaccines. We will be going into those same communities in our barbershops and salons to provide not only COVID vaccines, but flu vaccines as well, and providing those resources, not to necessarily persuade someone, but really to build confidence and provide education and resources around the vaccine. Today's topic, Put On Your Own Mask, is a very timely discussion. As you know, we are still really knee deep in the middle of COVID, as this new surge has arisen with the Delta variant. So we really want you to listen today, to listen to all of the good information that our speaker will be presenting, and stay tuned for additional information on upcoming programs from Kaiser Permanente and Good Health and Great Hair. So I want to thank Andrea and Roxana for continuing to be partners with our program. Thank you.
Awesome. And following Ms. Regina Webb will be Andrea Brown, Black Mental Health Alliance Executive Director. She'll be talking a little bit about what we do here at the Black Mental Health Alliance. And stay tuned, because at the end, we'll also have opportunity for how you can support our work as well.
So thank you so much, Roxana, and thank you, Regina, and shout out to our partnership with Kaiser Permanente, specifically Good Health, Great Hair, and to my cohort in crime, and I probably shouldn't say crime, Miss Alma Roberts, who I should say my cohort in creation, because we are constantly thinking about how do we bring information in a way that makes sense, in a way that is relevant, in a way that makes impact. And so again, thank you so much. This really is a critical time for us. One of the things that Regina talked about when she said, put your own mask on first. And we've got work-life balance and after enduring, right? Because we have not gotten through this storm yet of COVID. And so couldn't be more timely. I think the opportunity to talk about strategies and tactics and those kinds of things as we move through what this next strand will be helpful. But before I turn it back over, let me talk to you a little bit about the Black Mental Health Alliance. We are no stranger to putting our mask on, right? Or even having discussions about it, because that is what we do. We really do speak truth to power about every topic that impacts our wealth, our health and well-being. And so again, today is no different. Our mission has been, since our inception almost 40 years ago, is to develop, promote, and sponsor trusted, culturally relevant educational forums, trainings, workshops, and referral services that really support the health and well-being of Black people, period. We don't make any bones about that. And so again, today is no different. And in this moment, our work is significantly important, not just as we partner with Kaiser, but as we partner with other stakeholders. And so again, we are excited. I think Regina mentioned that you'll see more of what we do. And it is really less about pushing the vaccine. It is about how we educate our communities about what's best and what we know to be true. And so having said all of that, you are going to be thrilled about our speaker. I know that Roxana will introduce her, but did not want this moment to pass without saying thank you. You have been loyal to us during this time. I know many of us are zoomed out, but glad you are here. And I know that every time you join us, there is a new nugget that you learn and take away. So again, kudos to our partner, Kaiser Permanente, and especially this initiative, Good Health and Great Hair. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for that introduction. So, my friend, Teara Booker.
It's actually Teara, Roxana. Roxana is actually, yes, Teara, like Teara. A tear. Teara.
Oh my God, I've been saying it wrong.
I know. And my mother would probably kill me if I had.
Why would you?
Because I get so like overwhelmed with having to, I correct people like on a daily basis, but it's Teara. Like a tear. You're fine.
Teara. Yep. So I swear we're friends, y'all.
Yes, we are though. Oh, that's the funny part.
So bad.
That's all okay. Right.
So Miss Teara Booker, a personal friend of mine, even though I've been botching her name all this time, I can always depend on her if I need some kind of support. If I have a question, she's an awesome support, even to the Black Mental Health Alliance. But I just wanted to read a little bit about what she's doing in the community. She's an innovative health and wellness professional who believes in educating, training, and supporting the health and well-being of Black people and other vulnerable communities. This is the exact reason why she's a proud ambassador to Black Mental Health Alliance. She's passionate about wellness, happiness, and peace. She believes all people are entitled to live a mindful and content life. She's a mother. She's an awesome mom. Certified yoga instructor. She's at the YMCA. She needs to put her upcoming classes, because I just got a YMCA membership, so that way we can all join her classes. She's an author. She has several journals. And I also put the link for her journal in the invite to this. I will also add it into the chat. She's a certified wellness and V-Stream practitioner. You're going to have to follow up with her about what that is. And she's a life coach. So we are just so happy to have you on the line with us today.
Thank you so much, Roxana. Yes, we are truly friends, even though she sometimes you call me the right names most times, but sometimes she says Teara. So I just had to say it in honor of my mother, who, if you had the Black mother who does not allow you to let people say your name wrong, that's mine. She would throw anything that was near me towards me if I would allow it. So I just had to say that. So thank you so much for that wonderful.
You know what? I'm sorry. We have one question that is for Regina. I think, are the Kaiser team members African American community health workers? So if she could answer that in the chat, that would be helpful. Or if she could go off mute and answer.
But if you want to keep it, I can answer that.
Thank you.
You said, are the community health workers African American?
No, are Kaiser team members African American community health workers?
Yes. I think our Kaiser team members, community health workers.
Okay. So they are community health workers, which I think that's like a certificate, right? That you can go in the community and.
So we have this initiative that we're partnering with the state of Maryland. That's the GoVax campaign. That's their vaccination campaign. We, as part of that, we provided 4 trainings that allowed everyone that participated to get a certificate, to receive a certificate as our COVID vaccine education and outreach champions. As another part of that program is that we do have community outreach workers that are out in community canvassing and doing education and outreach as a part of that initiative to provide information and to help people actually register for appointments, if that answers the question.
All right, hopefully that answered the question.
Yeah, I just wanted to catch them so they could get the answer from Regina. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay.
Now the baton is yours.
All right. So thank you, everyone, once again. So I am going to begin a discussion and hopefully a dialogue because we all at some point, if not have been on a plane, we've seen demonstrations about things that take place on the plane. And in that vein, we know that it's important to put on our mask first. And so in putting on your mask first, it's basically providing a shield of armor or a protection for yourself because we cannot pour from an empty cup. And so you won't be useful to your family, to your friends, to anyone else until you put your mask on first. And so that's why I felt it important to use that as an analogy, use that as part of a title, because a lot of us, I'm seen as a wellness practitioner. I'm very, very close with the Baltimore City Health Department's COVID-19 and COVID response program. I'm actually a trainer in partnership with them. I'm well aware. I kind of get play by play as it relates to things that are happening with COVID-19. And as Arsana shared, they are making plans right now for the end of 2022. And so COVID is not going away. It's going to be here for a while. And so I just want to make sure, and Black Mental Health Alliance wanted to make sure that you guys are well aware that you have to be prepared and put on your mask first. So just want to share the workshop flow. And so I like to tell people as a trainer and a person who is very familiar with working with adult learners and persons who are over the K through 12 age, just wanted to share the workshop flow with you guys. So roughly we'll be dialoguing around 60 minutes. We're going to start with a warm up, which is going to be next. I'm going to stop sharing my screen to kind of pull that up. Then we'll go into a little talk very briefly about intentions, because as a yoga instructor, I know how important it is for setting intentions for everything that you do. Workshops, life, day-to-day activities, we all set intentions. We may not necessarily verbalize them all the time, but it's important to do so. Then we'll kind of share and talk about some information, and I call it knowledge. I will empower you guys to come up with a plan. That's what I call my application piece. And then there'll be some Q&A and a wrap up. And so pretty much that's how things will flow for tonight or for this workshop. And so the warm up is what I call a digital scavenger hunt. And if you give me 1 second, I'm going to stop sharing my screen to pull that actual scavenger hunt up for you guys to take a look at and hopefully for you to participate in. All right. So what this is here is this is actually a wellness. So we're talking about in this scavenger hunt, we're talking about the um life side, more so of the life side versus the work side. Because work, some persons when they look at work, they kind of think of that being the thing that they have to do. And so in this digital wellness scavenger hunt or digital wellness bingo, I want you to kind of think of some of the things that you would like to do. And so we have roughly about 13 or 14 folks on here. And so I want you to take a look at this bingo card. And I want each person to pick as many items um, as you can that you're able to discuss that you have done in the last 30 days. So as many items that you've done in the last 30 days on this card. And Roxanne is going to help me keep track of the persons as you either come off mute and share or place it in the chat. And so that's what we're going to do as our warm up. And so I can kind of start it off as a person who teaches and trains quite a bit here lately. I can kind of start it off so you can get a sense of what I'm talking about. And so for me, of course, I've taken a shower, so I'm not going to use that one as an example because that's an obvious. But I'll pick 5 off of here that I have done within the last 30 days, which kind of helps me towards my wellness and my life balance or the life side of my balance. And so wrote in a journal. I am a journal facilitator. So of course I write in a journal because that would be a little hypocritical if I didn't practice what I preach. In the last 30 days, I have decluttered some spaces. So my car is like a second home to me. And so I made sure that after I completed a lot of things over the last week or so, this past weekend, I kind of cleaned out my car. So my car is decluttered. That's number 2. Um, learn something new. No, I'm not going to do that one. Cooked a healthy meal. As a person, so just want to share with you guys, I am a person who doesn't eat meat. So I try my best to kind of stick within that healthy vein. My doctor says that I should eat meat, but I know how my body reacts when I do eat meat. So I kind of stay away from it. At this point, it's been about 10 years. So if I go back to it, it probably would give me some gastrointestinal issues for a few days anyway. So I kind of stay away from that. Drank 8 glasses of water in a day. So I recently purchased one of those tall, well, actually, my partner purchased one of those tall gallon water containers. And so I tried to stick with that. And then a 5th one is writing down 3 things that you're grateful for. So a part of my journaling practice, which I either do in the morning as part of my morning routine or in the evening as part of my evening routine, is to at least write down some things that I'm grateful for. And so those are my 5 bingo, um, 5 digital bingo wellness, 5 digital wellness bingo items that I share with you guys. So who would like to go next? And so far I'm the winner. So I need someone to go get
I would go
at
next.
least 6. Okay.
Okay, I know
Okay.
I can't win. I know I can't win, but so I took a 30-minute walk. Oh, I'm sorry. I was supposed to raise my hand. I'll do better next time.
You're fine.
I took a 30-minute walk. I had like the most incredible time catching up with friends. I spent the weekend with some good girlfriends. I drink at least 8 glasses of water a day. I had, let me see. Oh, a vegetable. I said ate a vegetable. I did that within the last 30 days and every day. I did declutter some small space. And then how many am I now?
That was 3, I believe.
Get out of here.
So declutter space,
friends.
hang out with friends, drink 8
vegetables.
glasses, a vegetable, that's 4. I'm sorry, 4.
Okay. And then declutter the space. We said that already, right?
Mhm.
And I did spend some time with nature.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Who else would like to go? Remember, keep in mind there's prizes associated with this. So.
Yes, I think we should make it a little challenge that you have to. Oh no, somebody did write it out. All right.
Oh, they wrote it in the chat. Okay.
Yes,
let's see.
Alicia Brockington said 7 wellness. Meditate 5 minutes. Caught up with friends. Floss teeth. Fresh air. Complimented someone and played with my dog.
Okay. Okay. So she's done 7.
Yeah.
Okay. Someone ready to challenge Alicia? Maybe come off of mute or place it in the chat.
I think it's easier to come off mute. Okay, so Lachey Witherspoon to everyone. Meditated for 5 minutes, took a 30-minute walk, complimented someone. Just disappeared. Complimented someone, got 7 to 9 hours of sleep, which that's awesome.
Yeah.
Stepped outside for fresh air, ate a vegetable. I think we should challenge this. What vegetable is it? She wasn't specific. Practice breathing exercise, took a break, drank at least 8 glasses of water, stayed off social media for 4 hours, floss teeth. Pretty good.
Yeah, she's doing the most. She said broccoli.
All right. Okay. So you did it. You did it.
All right.
Yeah, I think she beat me.
All right. So let's see. How many is that? 1.
So we have.
How many is that for
I
Lachey?
can tell you what I did.
Okay. Tell me what you did.
So this is Lynn. I took a shower. I caught up with friends. I took 30-minute walk. I strategized because I'm in a planning session. Into music. I complimented someone. I had 7 to 9 hours of sleep. I did spend time with nature out back in my yard. I did space preparing for a party. I wrote in a journal because some crazy stuff happened. And I ate a vegetable.
Okay, Lynn, go ahead.
Yeah.
Anybody else? All right. So far it's Lachey and Lynn in the lead.
So if you guys send me your email, I can, and if you place in the chat, place your email, I'll reach out to you to follow up about your prizes. I'm gonna give all 3 of you guys, except for our executive director. You guys will all get a swag bag from our youth summit. It has so many goodies on there that you can keep for yourself, or you can share with a young person that you care about. So,
all right.
Yep. So just put in the chat and your email so I can follow up with you.
And if you want, these are just some things that, you can kind of incorporate into your plan. If you want to take a screenshot maybe of these items, there's some excellent ways to kind of get yourself on track and organize as it relates to wellness and as it relates to your life side of the balance. Right,
yes, and I think someone placed in the comments that Miss Janine, hey Janine, she's one of our not Mind Health, she's one of our Black Mental Health Alliance consultants. She said, I love how intentional folks are to take care of themselves. That is so true. It's good to hear all the things that we're doing, especially listening to Lynn's list. That's inspirational. So thank you for playing that game.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, so now we're going to set some intentions. And so typically I do like a meditation when I do workshops with you guys. But for the sake of time, we're not going to kind of go into a meditation, but we are going to set our intentions, because intentions are the core of a conscious life. And so if you're being conscious and deliberate about things within your life, you are setting intentions. And so as it states here, conscious intentions color and move everything. And so I want you guys over the next few days, weeks, and months to think about setting intentions, even for the day. So as you're going out for the day and you know there are things that are planned, if you set your intentions, you'll be surprised at how how maybe your perspective could change on things, or how things could change in general from day to day. And so just wanted to share that with you guys. So next, what we're going to talk about, we're going to pretty much give a definition or define what work-life balance is. We're going to talk about the 8 elements of balance, even during a stressful situation such as a pandemic, how food and exercise can bolster resilience. And when I say exercise, most people, the first thing that comes to their mind is physical things. These things are physical, but not actually like physical in the gym type exercises. So I just wanted to put that out there. How sound and light healing can come into play and help you a great deal. You'll be surprised. And then how does humor reduce stress? And so I want to say since July of 2020, I have been immersed in what the benefits of and immersed in how the benefits of humor and laughter, smiling, really plays a part in your the reduction of stress and the improvement of quality of life. And I can kind of talk about that for a whole additional workshop. But I was trained as a child, even as an adult, to be serious all the time, to take care of business, to handle business, to take care of things. And so I really forgot how much humor and laughter really are important. And so a person was very instrumental in kind of sharing that with me, making sure I understand that. And it's a part of, if not my daily routine, it's definitely a part of my weekly and my monthly. And so that's kind of sort of what we're going to be discussing today. And so I just want a few persons to please describe your thoughts and feelings around COVID-19. And so, as we know, this is either 17th or going into the 18th month that we have been experiencing, working through, fighting, overcoming. And I will say this before I open it up to maybe a few comments. I will honestly say that COVID, there's been some positives. So I don't want to necessarily make it seem like, or put like a black, well, I won't say black, but put like a dark cloud over COVID, because yes, we know it's has caused a lot of destruction and taken a lot of lives. But one thing that I can say for myself as it relates to COVID is that it definitely slowed me down. I have not done half of the stuff that I used to do prior to having to go from this place to that place to this place. As you guys recall, when COVID, we first had the shutdown, we were told, okay, we're going to be shut down for like 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks at most. And it turned into what we now know as 17 months. And during that time, I had an opportunity to do a lot of thinking, a lot of soul searching. So I do credit that to having that opportunity. And I'm sure there are plenty other folks who can attest to that. But just maybe a few persons to share your thoughts and feelings around COVID.
If anyone wants to come off mute, I'll just raise your hand and I can unmute you.
Hi, this is Andrea. You know, it's funny that you asked the question, but there are days I'm like, is this real? Did this really happen? And so, you know, I, like you, slowed down quite a bit, but sped up in some other ways. But I think there's a part of me that is still shaking my head about, did this happen? And so I know it did, but I still shake my head anyway. And are we still here? Like, oh my God, are we still here?
Yes, that's definitely where I am, especially as a person who like I said, I don't work for the health department, but I work for an international organization that is in partnership and supports Heavenly with this COVID response. And so I get a lot of information quite frequently and quite kind of not pre-media, but it comes pretty fast, and sometimes that can be a little overwhelming. But it also is making me think like we are still here, like this is still going on. There's plans going into the end of 2022. Is my next email going to say 2023? Like I really truly believe if I see that, even though I'm a realist, so however I am optimistic, but I don't want to see us in the same place and space in 2023. And so my thoughts and feelings around COVID and around us making sure that we are being resilient and incorporating work-life balance, it is definitely a thought of realism, but also optimism. And so that's what I will say about it. Anyone else?
We have someone on the phone line. Is that Brenda? That wanted to say something. So I think it's the phone number, Alicia, and then Janine. So I'm gonna unmute the person on the line.
Okay.
Oh no, they're still muted. So we're gonna come back to you. So I'll unmute. So Janine, I just unmuted you or asked you to unmute if you could share.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Roxana. I would say for me, it feels like bittersweet. And I know that it might resonate differently for different people, but for me, it has felt like bittersweet when I think about like COVID. The opportunity, it's unfortunate that it took something like this to to bring folks in the world or even myself to like a pause.
Mhm.
And so that's very unfortunate. It's like how many times can an alarm go off before you actually, I guess, wake up and respond? And I will say like of course, the bitter part is witnessing the loss and the isolation that a lot of people are experiencing. But the other part of it that also feels a little bit bitter is how eager folks are being forced back into the way life was, I guess, quote unquote, prior to a global pandemic. That's also kind of anxiety provoking for me as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Janine. A few things that kind of stood out with a lot of things stood out, but things that I want to kind of touch on because I am seeing a lot of folks as a person who I have quite a few different arenas that I'm in. And so I have a few, like a bucket of friends who are in HR. And like you said, people are anxious, people are hesitant, people are not really for it. There are lots of vacancies in many different industries and areas. Right about now, if you wanted to get a job, this would be the time. There are so many persons in HR who are mentioning folks or mentioning putting out requests and requisitions for jobs and getting maybe 20 applications where they would get hundreds. Um, and of those 20, maybe 10 people would qualify and they're getting maybe 1 or 2 interviews because the other 8 aren't showing up. And so, like you said, people are just not ready. Like they're not ready. They're not confident in the practices, confident in the protections, the PPE, the whatever the case may be. Folks are just not ready to go back into places and spaces. A lot of federal and state agencies have even like downsized, like rented out spaces. Persons are sharing desks and office spaces. So it's just it's a different world.
Yeah. May I also add that I feel this the last thing I'll share is I feel like my feelings around like COVID have revealed societally, at least, or maybe in this country, how we really feel about children. I work for a program that's connected to the state, and we had to fill out like this form that says the cords are properly stored away, or you have enough outlets. And it said, are distractions eliminated from your environment? And in parentheses, the only example it gave was children. And I was like, oh, how rude, like that a child would be considered a distraction. And so
Right.
and that was a state institution that's a part of the university system, school system. So that was something else that stood out to me. So yeah, thank you.
You're welcome so much. I mean, thank you so much. You're welcome. Was there someone else, Roxana?
Did the person on the phone line want to unmute still? I just allowed you to. And then I think, okay, so they're on. Go ahead, you can share. Oh no, we can't hear you.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me and for sending the invite. I'm actually just driving somewhere at the moment. I had you on background, but thank you. The topics have been really interesting, and I appreciate the newsletter that you sent through. So awesome. If there's anything else for e-newsletters or networking, I'd be interested in joining as the pandemic continues. You have great timing when working. Your groups were nice to hear. I work for an immigration attorney, so it's been nice to hear some of the topics, just kind of understand what's going on out there and kind of be aware of what I can do to help. So thank you.
Awesome. And then Miss Lynn, do you want to share? Lynn had a few comments in the chat. Did you want to share, Lynn? I did see that.
Yeah, just the overall concern about people who are trying to get fake and phony cards and yet still participate in events and stay close to people and come into the grocery store, all of those things. So my concerns about people who don't want the vaccine but still don't want to keep, socially distant from other people who, are even in the school system fighting wearing masks, but now our children are the ones who are becoming more infected. So just concerns around the whole thing, how to stay safe,
Thank you so much for that. When I think about the children, something I did hear is that sometime in the winter, they're looking to kind of bring out a vaccine for children. And so that, for children under 12, because 12 and over are able to receive the vaccine, but 12 and under, they're looking for something to come out around the winter. And so that's going to kind of be another discussion, I'm sure, as it relates to protection and whether or not folks are going to get it. So, yes, I remember a time when, and you guys, I'm sure, remember this as well, when they said that children couldn't get COVID. And so there's a lot of, it's up to personal, I guess, belief and personal discussion. And we're not going to make this about a vaccine or anything like that. But there's a lot of things as it relates to these whole thoughts and feelings around COVID and COVID vaccines and all of those types of things, the different variants. So we can kind of stay on this whole little topic for some time. But we're going to kind of move on from here. So thank you, everyone, for sharing and for providing your comments and insight. So when we talk about work-life balance, as you know, it's kind of the equilibrium, or so the balance between your life and your career and your ability to prioritize the events and the things that take place between the two. And so the goal is for us to be able to, increase self-fulfillment, prevent injury and harm, limit stress, and create a balance between what we do for work. And that can be, working for an employer or being a business owner or a little bit of both. Because I know a lot of folks who have created businesses during COVID, which is awesome. It's always good to have some type of additional income, additional streams. So definitely being able to um, equally balance. And I don't like to use the word juggle because oftentimes people say, oh, well, I can juggle the two. Sometimes when you look at, people in the circus and doing different magic acts and stuff like that, when you're juggling, sometimes one of those things could fall. And so I don't like to use the word juggle because we want to kind of keep them equally balanced and not have one kind of fall. And so currently, more than 70% of Americans are having trouble with balancing work and life. And so prior to COVID, it was around about 50%. But it's interesting now, it's upward in the 70s that persons are having more of an issue with balancing life and work. And so the world, even with folks being able to stay at home, some folks, and kind of slowing things down. People, the world in general, are more stressed, overwhelmed, and oftentimes disengaged than ever before. And so I just want to know from you guys, um, are you trying to keep up with every area of your life and having trouble balancing it? Do you take on more than you should? Because a lot of this stress and inability to balance comes from, taking them on more than you should. And then are you juggling a ton of responsibilities? And so during COVID, folks have had the habit of taking on a lot more things. So they weren't doing as much, but even though they weren't doing as much, sometimes they were in the house or on their downtime taking on more tasks and responsibilities. And so that oftentimes has caused the issue with the work-life balance. So some people think that they're doing fine compared to others. And so a lot of this comes into play. Social media comes into play as it relates to this. Social media is one of those things where you see a lot of artificial, um, artificial representation is what I call it. Folks, for the most part, are only going to show you what they want you to see. They're only going to show you the good things. They're not going to show you, the difficult things, the challenges, and the hard stuff. And so folks are out here some folks, I know it's nobody on this call, but some folks are out here trying to compare themselves to others who appear to be doing fine. And this work-life balance thing it's individual. It means something totally different for everyone. And so not everyone's picture is going to be perfect and not everyone's picture is going to look the same. And so as we talk about these 8 elements of balance, this is a simple solution if adopted and um, kind of used in which I'm going to share and describe into getting things organized and balanced. So if you don't have a journal book or a pen in a book or a piece of paper, this would be a good time to kind of grab that so that you can kind of take down some notes as we talk about a few things together. And so element number 1 talks about mental health. And so mental health is all about having a healthy and a positive mindset. It's important to develop this mindset, and it helps with clarity, it helps with confidence, creativity, and the ability to learn and grow new skills and to think independently. So your mental health is something that you're going to be thinking about independently. And as supporters, ambassadors, followers of the Black Mental Health Alliance, I'm sure you guys know all about that. And so some activities, so I'm not going to just give you the knowledge, I'm going to give you some ways in which you can kind of put this first element into play. And some ways in which you can do that are with meditation, reading or learning something new from time to time. I'm a lifelong learner myself, so I try to incorporate something new. I'm in the habit of not trying not to overwhelm myself here lately, but trying to definitely learn something new. And then, of course, one of my all-time favorites is journaling. I heard Lynn mention that she was kind of going through some things, and so she had been journaling. Journaling is very useful. Useful. I have done a journaling workshop for Black Mental Health Alliance in the past, and it's a wealth of information. It's a wealth of sharing, deep discussions, intimate moments, goal setting. There's so many things that you can do while journaling, but it definitely helps with this first element, which is mental. Next is physical. So physical is about ensuring that we are taking care of our bodies through healthy, balanced nutrition, exercise, and proper sleep. And so when I say taking care of our bodies, we know our bodies, we've heard this many, many times. Your body is a temple. And so you only get one, and God has given it to you, whichever higher power you worship, but God has given it to you in order to do well with it and keep it in the best condition possible. And that's with nutrition, exercise, and proper rest. So I think it was Lachey, I could be wrong, but I think it was Lachey who mentioned that she makes sure that she gets 7 to 9 hours of sleep. And so I am a person who is not, I don't play about my rest. In my first career, I was a firefighter. And so I had to get up when the bell rang. I heard someone talking also about getting up when the bell rang. And so when the gong went off, I had to get up. And so as a person who has kind of retired from that whole life of being I wouldn't say a slave to the bell. So it kind of sort of that's what came to my mind. But having to get up and support and help others in the public when the bell went off, I am very intentional about my sleep and my naps. And so just wanted to share a few activities as it relates to physical health. And so definitely getting your rest, eating healthy whole foods. And so when we think about whole foods, we're talking about foods that aren't processed. Of course, vegetables are right in line with that. There are many other healthy foods. We'll kind of talk about some foods that are good with resilience later today. Drinking lots of water. So definitely staying hydrated because dehydration can cause a lot of issues that we don't want. And definitely practicing yoga. So anyone and everyone, no matter your size, your shape, your ability, can do yoga. Oftentimes folks kind of get the misconception that yoga is only for a certain body type, only for a certain race, but yoga is for everybody, literally. And emotional. So emotional is about understanding how thoughts and feelings affect us. The way we feel is a huge impact on our level of motivation, our actions, our behavior. And at the end of the day, it kind of affects our results. And so some activities that relate to this third element would be knowing when to ask for help. This is a big thing for me. I was, as a person who was taught to be serious, take care of business. I really wasn't one who asked for a lot of help, and mainly because I also am a person. If I ask for help, I really need it, and so if I ask for help and you can't help me or you won't help me, I would say you won't help me. It really affects me in a certain way, and so being a person who asks for help, listening to music, so music soothes the soul, and managing your stress levels with self-care. And so one of my workshops that I also facilitate is around personal retreat days. I'm not sure if you guys know about them, but if you don't, please definitely I'll share information on how to stay connected with me. A personal retreat day is like a self-care day on steroids, and something that you should try to experience at some point in your life. I'm a person who I try to incorporate at least one personal retreat day every month because it's important. And so that's element number 3. Number 4 is spiritual. And whenever you say the word spiritual, folks automatically kind of go to religion, but we're not talking about religion here. We're actually talking about seeking value, growth, peace, and purpose in your life. And so living by your own personal set of morals, your own values, being ep- ethically sound, and finding inner peace. This is what the spiritual element kind of speaks to. And so we talked about in our wellness, digital wellness bingo, our warm up activity, we talked about gratitude. So practicing gratitude by simply saying or writing down some things that you're grateful for, taking time out for self reflection, maybe spending time with nature. So we saw it in the activity as well. It talked about nature. For me, I am not as diligent as I have been in the past, but I used to go hiking quite a bit. And so hiking is something that kind of reconnects me with nature. I definitely want to kind of get back into it before the weather breaks. But typically, believe it or not, hiking is something that you can do as long as it's not raining or snowing. And some people even do it then. But for me, I've been in the colder months and I've been in the warmer months, hiking and finding places to hike. And so that's the spiritual element. And then the social element is building and maintaining relationships. So, safe, respectful, and healthy relationships that are supportive and respectful. Those are the 2 key components and the important components to make sure that your relationships are supportive and respectful. And so, you don't want to have relationships where there's a lot of withdrawals and not as many or um, enough deposits. So we have seen those folks who can withdraw until you're negative as a bank account can get, and they're not as diligent about putting in any deposits. And so you want to make sure that your relationships are putting in just as many deposits as there are withdrawals. And that can be with family, with friends, colleagues, all of that. Just wanted to share that with you guys. And so some activities as it relates to social would be being a part of a positive group of people, a positive community, spending time with your loved ones, and being there to help others. And so that's what social is all about. Environmental. And so environmental is like respecting and organizing your space. You heard us talk about decluttering. And this space is the air, the water, and the earth around you. And so maybe recycling. I'm just newly into, I want to say a year or so into being diligent about recycling in my home. And so I was always a person who, if I went out somewhere and they had maybe the waste, recycle, and maybe compost, I was diligent about, kind of separating out the things when I went, when I was out in the community. However, I'm more um, intentional about doing it now in my home as well. I'm volunteering to maybe do a cleanup. Maybe not so much right now during COVID, but definitely there are plenty of opportunities. I've done quite a few. As an AmeriCorps alum, I've done quite a few in my time. And just keeping your overall work and personal space clear is what we're talking about when we mention environmental. The next one can be a little tricky sometimes for folks, but this involves learning how to manage financial expenses and avoiding financial stress. Sometimes with financial, we're guilty of kind of creating things for ourselves, but keep in mind that finances are the biggest source of stress among a lot of people. So it's important that we take care of this area in our life, especially to keep our mind clear and our quality of life. And when I think of quality of life, I think of like now, but also more so long term. And so, of course, when you're younger, you're kind of building things for the future, and you want to sort of be mindful of that as it relates to the financial piece. And that would just simply mean taking time to budget, getting rid of excess debt, trying to make sure that you save money and then invest. During COVID, I did see a lot of people who had kind of got into investments, which was really great to see, because we can use that money to kind of build on our finances, build and save for the future, and so many other things. But you definitely want to know what you're doing as it relates to investing, or find a professional who does. And then the last element would be occupational. And so this element is all about work, whether it's your own business, as I said before, or your career. And this is where you create a healthy balance between work, so the things that you do for income, and life. And it's about advancing that career or building your business in a healthy way, so that you don't have to feel like it's work, work, work. And so the perfect career and the perfect passion and the perfect, um, I guess, income generating career, business, or whatever is one that you don't have to feel like you're doing work, and one that you don't necessarily have to take so many breaks from. And so, what that means is, continuously developing your own personal skills, building healthy relationships with the people that you have to work with, because believe it or not, maybe not so much now, but there was a time where people were spending more time at work and with the work um, colleagues and persons who were like teammates than they were with their own relatives. And so being mindful of that, creating that healthy life work or work life balance, and having a positive work environment. And so this is from day to day. Are there any questions or comments as it relates to the 8 elements of balance? All right. Maybe they're in the chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say that Andrea has a good one
Okay.
about the need for deposits in relationships. I think
Yeah.
that probably resonates for a lot of us that are and we're not mindful of that sometimes.
Right. I totally agree. And creating boundaries as it relates to those relationships and friends is pretty big. So I wanted to share some food. So I talked about food and exercise for resilience. And so some foods that I wanted to share with you guys are spinach, squash, mushrooms. Excuse me, my throat is getting spinach, squash, mushrooms, eggs, broccoli, and pickles. Someone mentioned earlier about broccoli as being a vegetable. I actually had broccoli for dinner tonight, so it's kind of one of my favorites. I'm not sure if you guys have incorporated any of these things, or if any of these are your favorites, but just wanted to share information about each one. And so, as it relates to spinach, spinach gives us that vitamin A, vitamin C, E, an array of other vitamins that pretty much are instrumental in boosting our energy levels. And this helps you to kind of deal with stress, overwhelm, or any type of situation as it relates to our energy. It also has an anti-cancer properties. We've pretty much, I'm sure, have heard these things as it relates to spinach. And so with squash, you can eat it many different ways. I like it in like a butternut squash soup. It's kind of sort of one of my favorites. But this has those anti-inflammatory properties and vitamins A and C. And so this is very instrumental in building and boosting our immune system. And so your immune system is very important when it comes to resilience. Number 3, not everyone's favorite. I eat them, but not as often as some people, but they are very high in vitamins B and D. A lot of African American persons oftentimes need to improve their vitamin D. And so if you're a person who doesn't necessarily like taking medications like I, this is a great source of vitamin D. And so mushrooms are some of the best foods for resilience for many reasons. And those are some of the vitamins that it provides. Of course, also great in boosting the immune system. Eggs. So I'm not a really big egg fan. I will eat them. I do know that a lot of people, especially who are in like fitness and health, kind of live by them as a great protein. But of course, we know that they are incredible sources of protein, but they also are anti-inflammatories. They help with blood sugar and balancing that omega-3 fats. Of course, they help with vitamin D and vitamin A for our immunity. So eggs are an excellent source of food. Broccoli, so that's the vitamin D, vitamin K, and magnesium. And so that, in addition to calcium, are great foods that you should or may like to incorporate into your tool belt. And then lastly, pickles. And so I say pickles, but pickles, sauerkraut, anything that's fermented. Not everyone likes pickles. I'm a pickle fan. Um, but pickles are a great source, and it pretty much provides or introduces the good bacteria. So pickles are something that brings the good bacteria versus the bad bacteria into our digestive tract. So it's important to have those fermented things into adding those fermented things into our diet. So if you don't like pickles, maybe sauerkraut. I'm a fan of both. I know some people like pickled onions and all other types of vegetables. So those things are good for your gastrointestinal system. Any questions about that? Anything in the chat? I think something was added. Let's see if I can see it.
John. Okay.
Janice said,
yes.
She loves them all. Greens, collards, turnips, mustards are on my list too. Yes, I am. As a person who doesn't eat meat, you can only imagine that those are things that are on my list too. Yeah, kale. I'll add kale to the bunch.
So I'm surprised Andrea didn't say anything because she also does not eat meat. And I did it for 2 months and broke because of chicken wings.
Most people are like that. They love chicken. All right. So exercises for resilience. So managing breathing with meditation. As a yoga instructor and a meditation coach, this is like my favorite. It was until, even as a person who practiced yoga for many years, I didn't know the importance of meditation until I went to teacher training and realized that yoga is not necessarily about the poses and the postures. It's more so about stilling the fluctuations of your mind and being able to meditate. And so this is one of those exercises that I mentioned that is not necessarily about like the physical jumping jacks and things like that, but more so exercises for resilience and meditation and breathing. Managed breathing is a good one. Limiting news and media intake. And so the media and the news can kind of do a whammy on folks. So yes, Janice also says she loves meditation to begin and end her day. Yes. And meditation can be 5 minutes. It could be 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 7 minutes. You don't have to kind of jump right into a meditation with like 30 minutes. And there's plenty of apps that you can use in order to kind of get yourself started with meditation. Dancing and listening to music. So music, as we mentioned earlier, are great ways to kind of soothe the soul. There are many different forms and genres and so many new things as it relates to music. I remember music from, the 80s and 90s, and now we're into a new life form as it relates to music. And the fourth one is resisting thinking traps. And so I kind of explained it a little bit in parentheses here. When I say thinking traps, I mean thinking about, oh, what if this, or oh, what if that, or I know that this is going to happen, or assuming that this is going to take place, or the world is coming to an end. This is all a part of the plan. You know, all of these are thinking traps. And so we don't want to kind of stress ourselves out, because that's what it does, with kind of setting ourselves up and putting these things into our minds and into the atmosphere. Andrea said, I took pole dancing and it was such a powerful tool to build self-confidence. Andrea, where did you go? Because I
I
have been
went to
seeing.
I'm
Go ahead.
sorry. I went to a place that's closed, which I'm mad about, called Body Talk.
Okay.
And it was so amazing. And it was such an opportunity for self-awareness. And I think you said it best when you talked about, you know, people think you have to be a certain size. And
Right.
I mean, women were all sizes, but I found myself for months after the class was over, like just dancing in front of the mirror, looking at my body. I'm like, you know, but it was less about figure. It was really about embracing, you know, I want more of this, or I have less that. It was just about embracing the space that I was in, the body that I was given. It was so awesome. So yes.
Mm-hmm.
Full
I tried it.
transparency.
I tried it one time, but I wanted to go back. This was many years ago. I mean, so many years ago. And I've been seeing it pop up. You know, certain things happen for a reason. And so certain things kind of pop up, and folks should to kind of take heed to that, not necessarily ignore them. And so I've been seeing it pop up from time to time. There's a young lady who teaches a class over near Loch Raven. And so I live kind of far from there, but it's in my mind to kind of maybe check her out one day. She's a yoga instructor and a pole dance instructor. And so that's kind of sort of how we became in the same, you know, community and space.
And I'd do it all over again, right? If I found the class, I mean, have car will travel, because it was so liberating on so many levels. That's what it was. It was liberating, and it was a boost to self-confidence. Oh my gosh. That's all I'll say.
Okay. All right, so sound healing. So I'm sure you guys have maybe even seen people with sound bowls, seen persons practicing sound healing, maybe even have heard some yourself. Believe it or not, if you kind of put in YouTube sound healing, or healing music for rest, any of those things, there's music that you can kind of listen to going to sleep that will help with so many different things. And so sound healing, or healing baths, even called healing sessions, help with calming folks down, improve sleep. Like I said, you can kind of listen to it going to bed. It reduces stress. It helps with providing folks with fewer mood swings, pain. There's many different benefits of sound healing. And so if you just kind of write down sound healing and maybe put a question mark next to it, that's definitely something that you should look into in the near future. And then next would be the light healing. And so there are different circadian lamps, of course, different light bulbs that help with light and healing, and the good old sunlight. If you place a person inside inside a building, or inside a home, or inside a space for 30 days, just think about it. When we couldn't necessarily go out, folks who really stayed indoors at the beginning of COVID and did not go outside, put that person next to someone who maybe was able to and did feel, you know, empowered or liberated to go outside. It would be two totally different people. You know, light healing helps with focus, improved mental health, improved memory. You know, our immune systems, our bodies need light. Like humans were born to experience and be exposed to the light. So there's many different benefits of light healing. Any questions about that? Oh, someone said my diffuser has light colors. Yeah, I've seen them. My son brought me a sunlight. I use it in my living room so everyone gets it. Yeah, just put another another little note to self: light healing or lamp, healing lamp. If you kind of Google healing lamp, you'll see all sorts from 10 on up to $100 or so. I'm not saying that you guys have to go out here and buy a lot of things, but just some tools in order for you to kind of get this work-life balance and become more resilient as we are continuing to go through what we do call COVID-19. So I want to talk briefly. This is kind of sort of like my last little nugget. I want to talk about laughter. And so statistics have proven that 1 minute of anger results in toxic chemicals that are floating in the body for 5 hours. So if you're angry for 1 minute, there are toxic chemicals that float in your body. There was a study, hypothesis, everything that proved this to be true. On the other hand, 1 minute of laughter produces positive chemicals that strengthen the immune system for 24 hours. So laughter is really something that soothes the soul, and it kind of sort of does more than that. I see someone said, can you share the study on humor? I don't have it right on hand, but I'll share my information and you can connect. Shana said, or Shania, I believe is her name, said, I definitely can believe that. Yes, laughter is medicine. It definitely is. Like I said, I'm a person who subscribes to many different, and I'll share some of the ways with you guys in a moment. But I definitely subscribe to making sure that I get my laughter in. So that was a lot. Now it's time for you to commit and share. And so, what are 3 things, and I'll hear from maybe 2 or 3 folks around 3 things that you're going to do to organize and balance your life in the next 60 days. And before I do that, I just wanted to share just a few things that I do to get laughter. And so, a comedian, so I definitely go to different comedy shows. I read the funnies. I watch different, what is it called? America's Funniest Videos. Remember, that used to be a TV show. Now you can catch it on YouTube. I look at different pets or pet videos around fun and laughter. And I play fun games with friends and family. So those are some things that I try my best to incorporate into my days and months in order to get laughter in. And so back to what is on the screen. What are 3 things that you're going to do? And I'm going to give you about maybe 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes to kind of think about them and maybe ponder on some things that we've discussed. 3 to 5 things you're going to do to organize and balance your life in the next 60 days. And so I'll give you a few moments to kind of think about that before we move forward. And then I'll invite maybe 3 or 4 persons to share. All right, so I should have plenty of persons ready to share. So who would like to go first? All right, maybe I'll check in the chat. Let's see. Is there anyone who wants to come off mute or?
So we have someone on Facebook, Miss Michelle Brown. She said, I'm
Okay.
going to drink more water, use my coloring books more. I forgot about my coloring books more often as they help me focus and brings contentment and set a boundary with doing work at home.
Okay.
And then we have a few in the chat.
Yeah, I saw it. I looked at it. I said, "Uh-oh, we got about 2." Let's see. Let's see.
Do you want Alicia? Alicia, if you want, I'll send for you to go off mute. You want them to come off mute to share?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, this is Alicia. Can you hear me?
Hi, Alicia.
Yes.
How are you?
Hi, it's nice to meet everyone.
You
Yeah,
too.
I'm very serious and been that way since a little girl. I married a comedian. So, I have no choice to laugh because he is indebted to make me laugh until
Yes.
I will probably leave this world. So I really have a difficult time sometimes with being humorous, not in my personality. But I really do now, hearing a lot in this workshop, do understand. And I know medicine is good. Laughter is indeed physical. So I am going to try to, find more funny apps and funny reading materials and even movies. I love the old favorites like Laurel and Hardy and the Three Stooges and some of, I don't know if anyone remembers Sanford and Son and
Yes, I remember it.
and all of those because they really make me laugh. So really just trying to get back there because I work very hard in science and so with COVID around, it does sometimes make my day very long doing the kind of research that we do. So thank you for this. It really brings things back to perspective that it is important to make sure you balance those things. So
Yes. Thank you for sharing that, Alicia. John, please tell me if I'm saying your name correctly. Johnnice or Johnnice? Johnnice?
I think it's Johnnice.
Johnnice, okay. She says more exercise, including meditation, enjoying the outdoors, including a friend or two with these exercises. And if they don't come, be okay with doing them myself. Go ahead. That's what I'm talking about. Because sometimes you got to just motivate yourself. I know all about it. It is exactly the way Miss Teara is.
Yeah.
So Johnnice, okay.
Okay.
So Lynn, continuing the journal. Yes, Lynn. Lynn, do you have one of my journal books? Because you are a journal guru. Drink more water. You said what?
I do need to get one of your journal books, but yes, I've been journaling forever because I forget, right? And so it only helps me to remember what it is I've done. But ma'am.
Yes. Journaling does help with remembering. You're jotting those things down. You come back to it like, oh yeah, this is what I was supposed to be doing. It kind of keeps you on track.
Right.
Drink more water, add another exercise to my almost daily walks. Yay, Lynn, almost daily. I wish I could get
Zumba. That's what it is.
Where do you go to Zumba?
She's a Zumba queen.
Where do you go?
We used to go to the community engagement and off of Baltimore Street, and then there's another one that we would do before that was up on Fulton Avenue. I can't remember the name of the spot. That's how long it's been.
Yeah.
The
pandemic shut us down.
The pandemic shut it down, and then you get out of the routine of doing it, and next thing you know, you watching it instead of actually physically doing it.
Right. I kind of looked into, and that reminds me, I made a call today to find out Aqua Zumba. Aqua Zumba is really fun.
I heard that
because you're pushing it against the water.
You're pushing against the water, yep. Especially in the summertime because it's hot. You want to get into the pool, and so I called this morning to see if they were having Aqua Zumba at the Y. And then they told me the person who I needed to talk to didn't come until 12 and my day got away from me. But that reminds me, Lynn, I will put that on my list of to-dos to call tomorrow. Okay, well, thank you everyone for sharing.
And just real quick, You
Go
had
ahead.
asked me what the Sawubona bonus circles are.
Okay.
That's one of the circles that we do, and not in partnership with a Black psychiatrist or
Okay.
Black psychologist association, and it means I see you. And it's just like a safe space. It's supposed to be for our young people, but I like go and listen in, and it's such good information. And it's kind of like our Mind Health Shop Talks, where it gives you just different tools to go through for your healing, to reset. And then the emotional emancipation circles are with Community Health Network. And I love that space because it's for Black people to heal from the trauma of racism. And a lot of times we don't see all the micro things that we're going through.
Right. Yeah.
And that circle, I just joined it. I even joined it late today, and it was like such an affirming circle that it was like, oh, I'm so glad that I at least got the 30 minutes in. So that, I think I want a purpose to do that once a week again.
And so the micro and the racism and microaggression workshop, what that you're saying that's weekly?
Yes. So one of them is weekly. I'm going to put that in the chat.
Okay.
That's with Community Healing Network, and our Black mental health circle that's led by Janine. She was just on. It's once a month. It's the third Thursday of the month.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll put those in the chat.
Yes, please do. All right. So as always, I love to stay connected. I'm a great resource, and I try to help support and be a resource for others. And so this is my email here. So if you want to stay connected, if you had a question about something I stated, if you need to create your own personal wellness plan, if you want to get a journal book, if you know about something exciting as it relates to wellness or anything that we shared, please do stay connected. I'm also on Instagram at Well With Her Soul. However, I kind of sort of took a break, and this was intentional, a break from my Instagram page. However, if you send me a message, I will respond. It comes to my phone, so I will respond. But I'm kind of revamping some things to kind of focus more on travel, because travel is something that's important to me in my wellness. I didn't speak on it, but I am a person, even during COVID, who tries to get away from the area at least once per month. And that's just because travel is in my veins. And travel is a part of self-care. It is a part of wellness. And so I want to infuse travel as well as sleep into my wellness page and into my coaching. And so I'm working on kind of revamping some things. And so I kind of took a pause from my Instagram. However, I can receive messaging. And so for folks, anyone who does reach out and is willing to do like a wellness assessment, I am willing to give out a free journal. And so anyone who wants to take advantage of that, please do reach out to my email, and we can kind of talk more about what that is. Any questions, thoughts, or feelings as I wrap up?
I'm definitely getting Lynn a journal book. That's one of the prizes she'll get, because I know she already has a swag bag.
Okay. Any thoughts? Questions, comments, suggestions?
Hey, Teara, this is Andrea. I really, this timing was perfect for a number of reasons. And I think it gives us, as we move into the fall, not to rush the seasons, but an opportunity to reset. So thank you for the wonderful reminders and for the new things that we learned.
Thank you.
And I think workshops like this help us with resetting and getting back to calibrating, because even what you just said, I think that'll teach us all the lesson when we're dealing with our family members to not be angered. What did you say about the anger being 1 minute of anger is like.
Yes, 1 minute of anger is putting in all these toxins for it, whereas though what is it, 1 minute of laughter gives you 5 hours of toxins for 1 minute of anger, or 24 hours of positive immune building, properties and chemicals for 1 minute of laughter. I think let me go back because I might have
so awesome. We're gonna have to share that.
Screwed that up. There it is.
Yes, that's so good because a lot of times we're trying to hold on to stuff. And in the beginning of the pandemic, I was more mindful about going for walks. And I definitely want to start that back up again because it just helps us get over things, process things quicker.
Let me tell you, we're not gonna hold folks up, but when the pandemic first hit, because I'm a person that has to walk or has to exercise, or my body will just not operate. I have to do something, like some sort of movement. And so my mom and we used to go and walk around one of the nearby high school tracks, and we would do like maybe 3 or 4 miles every day. And I just don't understand how I can't get back to that. I cannot for the life of me. But I'm trying. I did buy a bike, and so I do plan to do more bike riding. I wish I could kind of get into some of these like little bike groups, people riding bikes around the city. But for some reason, when they are riding, it just doesn't coincide with my schedule, but that is in my plan. So yes. So yeah, if there's nothing else, you guys, thank you for your time and do stay connected, and thanks for supporting Black Mental Health Alliance.
Yes, thank you so much, Teara. This was really good. Some great reminders. Thank you everyone for joining us. We will be back the 3rd Tuesday. I forgot to put the link in the chat, but I will send it in the follow-up email along with some takeaways that Teara shared with us. I don't know if Andrea has anything else to share, but I know we kept everyone over a little bit, but I think the information was so good. We all appreciate those extra minutes.
Roxana, the only thing, I think you're absolutely right. We want to value people's time. I do want to remind people that we are a membership organization and membership has power. And so join us for power for us and join us for power for you. So that's what I will say. So thank you again ever so much. I turn it back over to you.
And I'll put the membership information in that follow-up email as well. So thank you for that reminder. And this allows us to do more programming, to do our Sawubono circles and all the free programming. That's what some of that membership contribution goes to. And plus, our members get free trainings and a few other perks and bonuses. So we hope that you'll become a member as well. So thank you guys so much for joining us. We care about you. Take care of yourself while you're out there. And we hope to see you at the next Mind Health Shop Talk.
All right. See you guys soon.
Bye.